It is Thursday, April 18th, and the Splash Zone is back on your life. I'm Matt Modi, and I have three NBA player props for tomorrow's NBA betting slate. We're talking Friday, April 19th. We're close to 420, not quite April 19th tomorrow, but we have two more play-in games. We have the Bulls versus Heat. We have the Kings versus Pelicans, and I have three total player props for you guys to lock in. Now that we have a day off, I can do a recap of how the first two play-in games went. Yesterday was admittedly pretty rough, but Tuesday, days of the week are hard. Tuesday was pretty good. So overall, I gave out 9 plays total. That does include, I am counting my underdog parlay. So I went 4 and 5 on those 9 plays, but the lower unit size ones lost and the higher ones are the 4 that hit. So we were able to be in the green if you tailed every single play. Again, that includes a quarter unit on my underdog parlay. If you didn't play that, then you were up even more. But 4 and 5 up 0.14 units is nothing to write home about, but it was a day in the green, and we will take all the days in the green that we can get. That includes a pretty good year that we're having on the entire season. We're up just under the 110 unit mark of profit, just below 20% ROI, with a pretty good win-loss record as well, considering I try to play as many plus money plays as I can. Now for today, only one of the plays I have is a plus money banger, but it is a pretty juicy one, which is good. And we can get right into it. The only thing that I'll add before we get started is I'm recording this pretty early on the morning of Thursday. Pretty much all props are out for the Kings-Pelicans game, but not a ton are out for the Heat-Bulls. But I did want to get this out early because I really liked the 3 plays that I had. So I'm hoping you guys can watch this before the odds change. But I might add more plays as the day goes on between today and tomorrow. So I would recommend following me on Twitter, or the first thing I'll do when I decide to play is I will send it out to my Dub Club. If you're interested in that, I have a link to it in the description and the pinned comment. Now we can get into tomorrow's picks. So I'm going to have one play as of right now in the Bulls versus Heat game. I'm taking Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists, minus 132 odds at FanDuel. Minus 132 is admittedly a little more juiced than I normally like to play, but I love this play so much, and I'm very confident it's going to end at 4.5 or even 5.5 for pretty juiced odds. So I did want to get it out at the 3.5 number. This is most likely going to be a ladder play for me as well, where I take even higher than what the main line is. I just need more books to release odds before I ladder anything. So right now, only FanDuel and Fanatics have odds out. And this is a really good play on FanDuel. So I definitely recommend locking this in if you are able to. And this is a play because of Jimmy Butler being out of the game for the Heat. With Jimmy Butler off the court, Bam's playmaking takes a massive step forward. If you look at his last 10 games he's played without Jimmy Butler, he has gone over 3.5 assists in 9 of his last 10 games. Again, that's without Jimmy Butler. And the more important thing is he's averaging 9 potential assists in that 10-game stretch. 9 potential assists for someone who only needs to get 4 actual assists is a very doable, very reasonable number. And another reason why I think this has a great ladder opportunity. In that same 10-game stretch without Jimmy, he's averaging 6 actual assists as well, which is very, very good. And if you look at his data with and without Jimmy Butler on the court, and that's something you can do at RotoWire, he sees the biggest increase on the team in terms of assists per 36 minutes if you isolate the data from January 1st until now. So that's still a 3.5, 4-month sample size, which is a pretty big one. And he literally has the biggest assist increase on the team without Jimmy Butler on the court, averaging just under 2 full assists per 36 minutes. Without Jimmy Butler. Now, 2 more per 36 is a pretty big deal considering we're getting him at a low number of 3.5. And because he's probably going to play 36, if not more minutes in this game because it's an elimination game. He might get 40 plus minutes, probably closer to the 37-minute mark. Now, he only played 30 minutes against the Sixers, but he was in foul trouble with Embiid in that game. That's not going to happen against the Bulls. They don't have anybody that is going to put him in foul trouble. And just for context, last year, he played over 37 minutes in the play-in game against the Bulls. It's not quite that 40-minute number, but still 37 is higher than his season average. And he's cashed this in both games against the Bulls so far this season. And Jimmy Butler played in both of those games. So same matchup without Jimmy Butler. I love this spot for Bam and his assists in this game. See a ton of ladder potential as well, but right now we're just rocking with the over 3.5. That's our first play. Next up, we're going to the Kings versus Pelicans, and I'm taking Brandon Ingram over 24.5 points plus assists, minus 112 odds at DraftKings. So to be honest with you, this is another play because of increased usage, increased playmaking with an injury, this time with Zion being out for the Pelicans, which means increased both usage rate and passing for Brandon Ingram. Now, usage rate basically just measures scoring. It's a possession that ends in either a shot attempt or a free throw attempt. And then playmaking obviously measures passing. That's why I'm combining the two, because both of those numbers increase when Zion is not on the floor, specifically for Brandon Ingram. Now, people are going to be scared off of this because they're going to see Brandon Ingram's only cashed this in one of his last 10 games. And yet that also includes both games since he returned from his injury, where he only played 23 and 25 minutes. In those 2 games, he was ramping up from a knee injury. I have a hard time seeing him play limited minutes once again in a do-or-die game for the Pelicans, and when you consider the fact that Zion is going to be out. And if you look at the last 10 games that he's played without Zion Williamson, he's gone over this 24.5 points plus assist number in 7 of those 10 games, 9 of which happened this season. So it's 6 of 9 specifically this year, 7 of 10 if you just go back to one game last year. And if you look at the 3 games that he missed, he had 23, 23, and 21 points plus assists. So yeah, that's still an under, all 3 of those, obviously. But that shows that the floor is there. One more bucket in 2 of those games, and he cashes this over. And then one more bucket plus 3-pointer in the other one, and he cashes. So again, it just shows you that the floor is there when Zion Williamson doesn't play. This year, he averages over 7 points and 2 more assists per 36 minutes with Zion off the floor. Now, I don't know if he's going to get to the 36-minute number tonight, but he's definitely going to play more than the 25 that he played last game. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the 32, 36 minutes number for Brandon Ingram. Again, it's a do-or-die game for the Pelicans. I also really, really like this matchup for a Brandon Ingram against the Kings as well. He's cashed this in 3 of the 4 games that he has played against the Kings this season. He also has cashed it in both games against the Kings that he played last year as well. So if you look at the last 2 seasons, he's cashed it in 5 of 6. And if you look at those 6 games, he's averaging 5.5 assists in those 6 games and over 10 potential assists in those 6 games as well, while averaging about 24.2 points per game as well. And that includes all games against the Kings, not just with Zion Williamson missing. Now, that all makes sense, the fact that he's played better against the Kings, because if you look at his profiles against the Kings are allowing the 3rd most points per game specifically to his shooting profile, Brandon Ingram's, and the 5th most assists per game specifically to his playmaking style. That's all data via Courtside Pal. So I love this spot for Brandon Ingram. Let's hope he comes through for us as our second play. Third up, final pick as of right now for this video. Sticking in the Kings Pelicans, I'm taking Jonas Valanciunas, double-double, plus 160 odds at Bet Rivers. Now, for context, I gave this out on my Dub Club before all the books had released odds and got pretty decently worse odds. I think I sent it out at plus 135. But right before I started recording, I checked this and was best offered at plus 160. So that's what I'm giving out for you guys to lock in. But this is another play that I love, both as a matchup play and a play because Zion Williamson is missing. Now, even if you don't even take into account the fact that Zion's going to be out for this game, and you just look at Valanciunas' splits, specifically against the Kings, he's been awesome against the Kings. He has at least 10 rebounds in 6 of 7 games dating back to last year. That includes all 5 that they played this year. They played 1 extra game because of the play-in. So 5 for 5 getting 10 rebounds this year, 6 of 7 if you include last year. And then if you look at least getting 10 points, it's even better. He's gotten 10 points in legitimately every single game he's played against the Kings over the last 2 seasons, which once again obviously includes all 5 this year as well. And if you look at his points per game against the Kings, only once did he even score under 13, which is when he scored exactly 10. Pretty awesome hit rate, specifically for his points, and then obviously for his rebounds as well. And his minutes are generally up against the Kings, right? He's averaging, in the last 7 games against the Kings, he's averaging about 27 minutes per game. That's up from his season average. Last time he played against the Kings, he played over 30 minutes. And I expect him to get at least 27 minutes in this one, if not more. And if you look at the games, if you isolate it, games in which he's played at least 27 minutes, he's cashed 10 or more rebounds in 18 of those 26 games. So awesome hit rate. And 10 points in legitimately all 26 games in which he's played 27 minutes. And none of the stats that I've given out include Zion being out of this game. That only helps Valanciunas probably from a minutes perspective, from a scoring and rebounding perspective as well. So getting him to record a double-double at plus 160, I think is phenomenal. And that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in, and make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you like the plays that I give out, I do have a Dub Club where you can get everything sent to you immediately for $5 a month. If the odds change by the time you watch this video, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. My only solution was to create the Dub Club where I send everything out, gets sent directly to your phone It's only $5 a month because you can get everything for free on YouTube and on Twitter. It is the same plays. You just, again, get them early so you're able to lock them in before the odds change. But if you'd rather just not pay the $5 and get everything for free on YouTube and Twitter, totally fine with me. I just like to give people the option, and that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.